Hey guys, Jujubear here, welcome back to the channel. Now, we are playing Rome Total War 2, and I'm not calling it a Total War Tuesday, just because it wasn't my own rules and it wasn't the actual mini tournament that we know and love. I'm playing with a dude called Artful Dodger. We've been talking back and forth about the rules for the tournament, and we decided that, you know, there might have to be some changes. I might increase the unit max to 4. It's definitely a point of contention, and I really want to know what you guys think. In these small funds battles, if you have as many units as you do, like typically you'll have like maybe like 8, probably less units to field. Like sometimes if you're doing it cost effectively, you can usually manage to get maybe 8 units on the field. If you push it maybe like up to 10, if you're being really cost effective. But as soon as you start getting the same unit appearing more than 3 times, I would consider that a spam. If you get units that appear more than that, like up to 4, I would definitely consider that a spam, because that, like, half the time that's half your army made up of that particular unit. And especially when you're playing up against factions like, you know, Rome, that kind of thing, where they do have access to such cheap, effective, cost-effective infantry. Yeah, it can be really one-sided. So I would really like to know what you guys think about this. I'm just trying to get these rules down pat so I can like keep on playing the game and not have to worry about this. But a few people have mentioned this so far to me, and it's definitely something that I'm going to consider. So is max 3 of the same unit good? Or is max 4 the same unit good? Would you consider 4 units in a small funds battle a spam? Or would you consider 3 units a spam? Let me know. Because usually it's like up to 8 units in an army on these kind of battles. So anyway, Art for Dodger for the first match has picked Athens. And I have picked Armenia. I love playing as these horse-heavy factions. I brought a Royal Cataphract General, 2 of these axemen, because I knew that Athens would be bringing a fairly hefty amount of spears with lots of, you know, armor. And I brought an Eastern Spearman at the front. So he has done exactly what I predicted, and he's brought a lot of these militia hoplites, which are very good at holding themselves up. They have fairly good, they're very heavy spear infantry, so lots of armor, but they are fairly terrible when it comes to much else. So he's brought 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can't count, 5 of them in the center, 2 Tarentine Cav on the flanks. He's brought a Cretan Archer and a Hippeus Lancer General. So I've also brought a couple of units myself. Horse skirmishers on this flank, 3 of these horse archers, 2 on that flank and 1 over here. So we're slowly picking apart this one Tarentine Cav that's being, you know, cornered from both sides. And it seems to be like kind of wasting its ammo on my units. And of course, you know, you saw the units that I had in the center. So definitely in the infantry engagements, I think one-on-one, I could definitely destroy. He's got 5, even though he's got 5 units of these militia hoplites, my axe warriors, my axemen will have no problem cutting through their armor. So I'm pretty confident in what would happen in that kind of engagement. His Hippeus Lancer is definitely a dangerous unit. And also this Cretan Archer. It's got double XP chevrons. That unit is going to be 7 shots per minute, melee attack, you know, all that kind of stuff. Morale's pretty good. But that's definitely going to be, the 40 missile damage and the 150 range is definitely going to be something to watch. Because I don't actually have any foot skirmishes of my own, it's just horse skirmishes. So I'm getting some pretty nice shots into the back of this Hippeus General. Maybe get some AP damage. Skirmish function's not really working so well there, so I ran straight into him. He does have 1 Tarentine Cav down to 21 men, and this Tarentine Cav down to 58. He did manage to catch my horse skirmisher and destroy it fairly quickly, so that was definitely a mistake on my part. So not very good micro from myself there. One of his Tarentine Cav is pretty much gone, and the other one is being ripped apart from a combination of 3 different horse archers. So I've got a half-strength horse archer here, and 2 other units that are fairly... They've got a fair few men left, 60 and 47, so not doing too bad at all. Feeling pretty good about this engagement. These horse archers, I can't remember how much they cost exactly, but these kind of rear shots that I can get into the enemy Tarentine Cav are going to be crucial, just because they carry these big old shields. that give them a fairly good missile block chance. So they've only got 30 kills there and 19 kills there, whereas my units have been 11, 29, 19. My horse skirmish has probably got a few kills as well. So doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm just going to pull back until I'm ready to engage because I'm actually getting pretty frightened of his Cretan archer, but it looks like he's set them up over here. Now, I don't want to get on a one-on-one engagement with my horse archers up against his Cretan archers, so I'm happy to get away from this engagement and leave. What I really should be doing here is engaging his spears head-on with my own axemen, because I am outmatched, I am outnumbered. Well, I'm not outmatched really, I've got the better units, but you know what I mean, I'm definitely outnumbered. If he can wrap around and get some rear penalties on me, then he'll be happy with that, I'm sure. So just trying to pick up a good position with a little bit of cover. My opponent's doing the same thing with his militia hoplites. Again, getting some fairly good shots on these Tarentine cav with my own horse archers. Though I'm just trying to be wary. He is covering very well with his Cretan archers. So on the center, I'm going to chase off his Tarentine cav with my own Eastern spearmen. My axemen are getting ready for a charge. And what I'm going to do with my Royal Cataphracts is do a bit of a 1-2 punch. So hit them with my Royal Cataphracts, do some knockdown damage, and then follow up with my own axemen and pull my own Royal Cataphracts out. My opponent does a really great job with his Epeius General and brings that in. My Eastern Spearman is still trying to chase these Tarentine cav, which has actually caught one of my horse archers, which is not good at all. Over on this flank, my axemen have engaged with his militia hoplites. One of my horse archers is being destroyed over on the flank over there, 13 men left. I really need to start extricating my Royal Cataphracts. I'm trying my best, but they are getting caught up in amongst this this big old mess of units. He's going to follow me with his Hippeus Lancer. And I did use Trample Charge, so my unit is exhausted at this point. His general is fresh, so I've just used Second Wind to get back my my energy on that unit. I pulled one of his Tarentine cav away from the fight, and there's a Cretan archer left. I put one of my horse archers into melee mode, and I'm going to give a rear charge into this unit over here of militia hoplites, and then I think I'm immediately going to go after these Cretan archers in a second. So Royal Cataphracts ought to do okay in extended melee combat with these Hippeus Lancers. Definitely not where they should be used, but they should be okay in this kind of fight with their axes and armor piercing damage, so not too bad. Axemen getting a lot of kills, 100 there, and 78 over here. They've managed to finish off one militia hoplite, and this unit of axemen are moving on to the next. It looks kind of weird. I think they've just swapped positions at the moment, so I don't know how that happened, that I was attacking from this direction and they were attacking from there. That'll be easier to get a rear charge if I can. So we're finishing off the enemy general with 18 men left. The militia hoplite has joined in this fight, so I'm going to have to get my general out of this fight as soon as possible. And it looks like I'm starting to extricate them now, just because I don't want to stay in melee combat with those militia hoplites. I do have 36 men left. I'm going to have to silence these Cretan archers if I'm going to do anything about the mainline engagements. So bringing these Royal Cataphracts in for a rear charge. It's a bit of an awkward position. But yeah, you can see I'm coming into the back of them now, and that's going to do absolute wonders for this fight here. My axemen are very spread out, and I'm gonna actually flee through my own men and to the safety of this other side here. My horse archers are holding down the Tarentine cav and these Cretan archers while I'm bringing back my Eastern spearmen. So at the moment, it's not looking great. I'm not heaps happy with how things are going. My axemen have finished off that militia hoplite, and they're moving on to the Hippeus Lancer. So if I can hold them down for a bit, that'd be great. One of his militia hoplites are coming back from the fight. This axeman got ganged up on by two militia hoplites. I don't know if that happened in the real fight, but might be a buggy replay here. Chasing his Hippeus Lancer, we just want to finish them off quick smart before they get back into the fight. I'm bringing my axeman over here into this fight to silence these militia hoplites. I'm just trying to pull away from his Cretan archers, because they're definitely the biggest threat in the battlefield right now. At least my axemen are engaged with these militia hoplites, so they can't be shot in the back or the front or anything like that. My Eastern spearmen are going to meet his Tarentine cav head on, and I'm going to finish off this militia hoplite before it can rejoin the fight, just to mop it up and that kind of thing. So we'll catch this charge here. Boom. So these militia hoplites are actually very useful speed bump units. They are very heavy spear infantry. Go figure, with that kind of that kind of armor there. And lo and behold, my axemen are holding strong, and they're getting a lot of kills on these militia hoplites, just cutting through them like butter. My Eastern Spearmen managed to finish off the Tarentine Cav, and my Royal Cataphracts are going to go straight into these Cretan archers. They've done enough damage for this battle already, and I'm just hoping to silence them. So even though it looked like my opponent had the upper hand with, you know, more units and a better, I don't know, the skirmish advantage, these axemen, when you get them in engagements with the right units, they can be really, really, really brutal. Oh, we almost saw a fatality there. So yeah, extra brutal up against units like militia hoplites. Great against those units. 202 kills, 131 there. My Royal Cataphracts, 211, just running around finishing off various units around the battlefield. So good game from Artful Dodger. Let's move on to the second one. I picked another horse-heavy faction here with Royal Scythia, and he has picked Sparta. Now you can see I've gone with, I always forget the names of these units. I think it's Noble Horse, a Noble Horse Archer, and a couple of these Lancers. I forget the exact name of them, but he's got a Heroes of Sparta General, 3 of these horse skirmishers, which is definitely bad news for me. I didn't really expect him to have any skirmishers really. I mean, I knew that he would probably bring some helot slingers. Lo and behold, he has. He's got 3 of them. In the center, he's got 3 of these Spartan Youths. Out in the flanks, he's got Spartan Youths again. And Royal Spartan General. Sorry, not a Hero of Sparta. So his skirmisher cav is definitely going to be more than a handful for my my own units. Just because the only skirmishing capabilities that I do have are these Royal Horse Archers. Yeah, here we go. Scythian Royal Horse is the unit. And then I've got a couple of these Steppe Noble Lancers. So I'm just going to go into forward just for a second, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this kind of one-sided skirmishing engagement. So I don't really stand a chance up against this skirmisher cav. I'm just going to have to try and run away with my units. They are very light, or light missile cav, so they're going to be able to catch me no matter where I go. My Royal Horse Archers are going to be able to do a lot of damage to these skirmisher cav, but if he focus fires on my general or something like that, he's going to be able to take him out fairly quickly. So again, I think I popped my units off skirmish mode. Couple of shots there, already ripped through, 7 of these skirmisher cav. So every single shot I get, I do get a lot of kills. So 16 kills so far with like 2 volleys or something. There's a 3rd volley, taking out a few more. The slingers are getting some good shots onto my Steppe Noble Lancers. I'm going to have to pull them out of that kind of position. So I'm just trying to use my Royal Horse Archers to soak up fire because they can. They've got a lot of armor. And do as much damage as I can. Just keep them moving on the battlefield. See if I can catch them and crush them in melee. So my opponent doing a very good job. I've only just lost one of my Royal Horse Archers now. There goes another one. I really should be moving at this point. So this skirmisher cav getting some good shots into my Steppe Noble Lancers. My opponent doing a very good job of just like splitting up his forces. Probably a good idea. So it's not looking too good for me at this point. Yep, I think I popped precision shot, yeah. So my plan so far is going to be deal with the skirmisher cav, see if I can keep my general in the game. And I am wearing them down slowly, but it's definitely taking a toll on my general, who's only got 42 men left. And I want to conserve my ammo for these slingers. So you can see right now I've just popped Draco on my Noble Horse, which gets rid of any bracing bonus and any bonus versus mounted units. So that means all these units that I'm charging into now are not going to be braced. And I get a nice recharge with my Noble Lancers here into these units. So lots of kills. I think I pretty much wiped out a couple of different units, which is great. And he's going to try and charge in with this skirmisher cav, but I'm pretty much just going to wreck them with my own Noble Lancers. So I got a couple of these Scythian Raw Horse caught up in the fight here, but I'm trying to pull them out desperately. So already lots of kills, 73 on that one, 53 here, 82 there. These Spartan Youths are great, but they are medium. So any charge that I put onto those units is definitely going to yield some pretty good kills. His slinger is getting some good shots into my Royal Horse Archers. I'm going to have to pull them away. I may as well just finish off this Spartan youth while I'm there. Just because I don't want them coming back from the fight. Getting some good kills here. So what I'm going to do is retreat to the woods every time I use my Draco ability. I think it's about a minute that Draco ability takes to recharge. So when I get close enough to use that ability, I'll pop the ability, get rid of the bracing bonus on all the units within that radius, and then charge in with my other units. 38 men left in my Royal Horse Archer, so I'm going to have to make sure the next couple of charges count because, yeah, I don't want to make sure, I don't want to lose my general anytime soon. So 60 men left in that unit, 42 left there, and 42 left there, and my Royal Horse has got 54 men left. So I think at this point, I was just resting my units and replenishing my Draco ability. We're doing a bit of a, not a cat and mouse, but kind of like a repositioning kind of thing. Again, I'm coming back in for the kill. Just note my Royal Horse is over here. So I'm coming around the flank. The skirmisher cav was up in front. He was hoping to blunt my charges, but it was on skirmish mode. And this is the point where I dropped Draco, and all of these units within that radius now do not have a bracing bonus, which is great. So I'm going to charge in and absolutely punish any units on the charge. Yeah, you can see the amount of devastation that's happening here. Like 30 men left in that unit, 76 in this unit. Lots and lots of kills. I've actually penetrated through these units up the front, and I've managed to get a fairly good amount of kills on these Helot Slingers as well that were standing behind. Even managing to destroy this Helot Slinger here. So my Royal Horse Archers up the front, well up the back, just mopping up these Helot Slingers. Didn't manage to destroy them completely, but still not doing too bad. Battle Rhythm popped in that unit there. So we're all fresh. Everyone is fresh. That one's very tired over there. This one's active. So we're going to pull back to the forest, get some cover. It's a really annoying way to play the game, and I can understand why people don't like playing against people who play as these step factions, but it's literally the only tactic that you can use sometimes. Like if I was, like how else am I going to play as the as one of these step factions? There's literally no other way to play the game as these step factions, really. Because there's no infantry units that you can use. So the final charge coming in, he's got 3 of these Helot Slingers left, Spartan Youth up the back and a Royal Spartan at the front. Skirmisher Cav left up here with 28 men left. They're probably not going to be super useful left in this match. So I'm taking my Lancers around the edges to hopefully get a good charge, and I'm just going to take my Royal Horse right down the gullet and pop that Draco ability. So as he gets closer, he's going to apply that damage potential to all the units, and I'm going to come around the side here and charge into these Royal Spartans. Not the best charge by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to come around the edges and actually hit the... yeah, only 3 kills, 4 kills on that Royal Spartan there. Very good charge on these unbraced Spartan U's here. They are medium units, so not the best weight class to be coming up against heavy shot cav. My Royal Horse Archer coming in here, again, very heavy missile cav, so they're going to have some pretty punishing charges of their own. And I'm actually kind of come back for another go with my Royal Horse and get a couple more kills before I pull out. So I've managed to destroy all of his other units except for his Royal Spartan. And this really is the last hurrah for this Royal Spartan here. I'm just going to put it in cinematic mode so that we can watch the demise of this poor little Spartan unit. So from all directions, he's trying to form up, but I'm just going to lay down a freaking punishing charge on this dude. Flank charges, back charges, front charges, all kinds of charges. Even there's no one left standing, really. There's a couple, really, but even oh man, how do you stand up to that? You cannot. So my opponent's pretty annoyed at this point. 209 kills at the Royal Horse Archer, 202, 127, all kinds of kills, and the Spartan U's not really doing anything at all. So game 3, I was like, yeah, you know what? Truth, I'm not going to go with the horse prominent faction anymore. I'm going to go for Cimmeria. I did bring a couple of horse units, but we'll see how it works out for me. And he's brought Massilia. So up the front, I got two Cimmerian heavy archers. I do have a Cimmerian noble infantry general, flanked by two Scythian hoplites, citizen cav, young axes for flanking, and a steppe lancer. My opponent here has brought two skirmisher cav, Hippeus lancer, and a spam of, well, I think it's a spam, of 5 Celtic warriors. You tell me if that is a spam within a small funds battle. Tell me honestly if you think that is a spam. So, fast forward just so we can get into position. Same map, by the way. Would have been good to try a different one. So we got skirmish cavs coming up around the flanks. I'm basically just going to hold them off with my own Cimmerian heavy archers. My opponent actually played a very good match here with his micro. So he's getting into the back, throwing some volleys into my citizen cav, doing a pretty good job at just being annoying and just luring out my own units. So I actually only just noticed that he's got a couple of these mercenary Gallic hunters because they were hidden. So that's going to mean that my heavy archers have got more than their work cut out for them. I may have to just ignore these skirmisher cav completely and go after his Gallic hunters. And I think that's what I'm doing here. So I've turned around. No, I'm not. I'm guarding from that position. So basically my Gallic hunters, his Gallic hunters have free reign over any of my units, and he can just fire into whatever units he wants. Using my steppe lancers to ward off these skirmisher cav. And I turn around this Cimmerian heavy archer, and I'm going to put into position shot and just wreck one of these Gallic hunters. His Gallic hunters don't really stand a chance up against my Cimmerian heavy archers because these guys are very light. They don't have the best armor either. 10, and what have I got? 35. So yeah, he's definitely not going to do too well. My opponent here getting some fairly good shots in. I'm going to have to bring my Scythian hoplite and chase him off. Try and get some kills with my steppe lancers. Again, he is shooting into my heavy archers, but I'm going to pretty much ignore everything else and just use my steppe archers or my heavy archers to focus fire on one of his Gallic hunters. So again, he has got about 20 kills now, but I think I've managed to get more than that. It's at this point that I start firing with my other Cimmerian heavy archer, or at least it's going to happen soon. I notice I'm kind of losing the battle, so I'm going to have to bring my steppe lancer in and push them back. Again, I'm just screening with my Scythian hoplites right up the back and making sure they don't get too close with the skirmisher cav. So it's pretty hard to try and hold off the threat of all of these different units, and at the same time be offensive up the front with your archers. So we are focusing firing on this Gallic hunter, wearing it down. These Gallic hunters seem to be quite a good unit, fairly useful for what they are. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a battle. Oh yeah, almost got caught here by this skirmisher cav. He was going to go for them, my heavy archers. So kudos to my opponent here. He actually did a really good job of, microing and just being annoying with his units. Absolutely. Oh yeah, we actually managed to catch a skirmisher cav over here and wreck it, which is great. Hate this cav. So down to 40 men with this Gallic hunter, but at this point I just feel like I'm wasting my ammo on these very light missile infantry. I mean, they are fairly expensive because they can hide, but they're not. It's just kind of like, it feels like a waste of ammo. Every time I get into skirmisher fights, I always think like, man, this is such a waste of time or such a waste of ammo, whatever. So now we've changed targets and we're going to target these Gallic hunters. Again, I'm going to push him back with my steppe lancer, get some shots into the rear. He's going to bring his skirmisher cav around and try and threaten my own heavy archers. At this point, he starts marching up with his Celtic warriors, and I'm going to have to pull back with a number of my units. This is not good, so I'm going to have to pull around my steppe lancers and hold him down with that unit. What I should be doing is just engaging. Like, I should be holding down his general and firing into him, but I'm too busy in trying to get away, and my thinking here was, yeah, okay, cool, gonna get my heavy archers away just so that I can take more shots into my opponent, but I really should just be holding down his general and killing him. That should be what I'm doing at this point, but I'm not. So you may have noticed already that I don't really play a very skirmishy game. like in most of my engagements with the opponent, I don't really use skirmishes that much. Yeah, so here I'm doing another 1-2 punch, hitting him with my Citizen Cav, and following up with Scythian Hoplites, or Hoplites, but I am outnumbered. The Hippeus Lancer managed to catch my own Citizen Cav and kill them, or pretty much take them out by half, or even more. I did get my Scythian Hoplites in. They did get a charge from these Celtic warriors, but we haven't really done much of a dent in any of these units here. Killing off this skirmisher Cav, my young axes coming into the side of these Celtic warriors. Again, just not really playing the game very well. These Hippeus Lancers coming up and destroying my Chimerian heavy archers. Again, like, this is why I don't play a very skirmish heavy game in Total War Rome 2, because you just have to babysit them and watch them all the time. I would rather bring more cavalry, or even I would rather bring more infantry. So these Chimerian heavy archers do carry a double-handed spear, which makes them fairly good against enemy cavalry. But he's done the intelligent thing and turned around and gone after my young axes. So I was actually very close to finishing off his Celtic warrior there, but it was very good timing from my opponent there, because he managed to save them pretty much. Over on this flank, I put my unit to Hoplite Wall, but he is getting hacked to pieces by 2 different units, these Celtic warriors. In the center, my noble infantry are holding pretty well, destroying this Celtic warrior, but it's not going to be fast enough. So I'm going to bring my own Scythian hoplite into the back of these Celtic warriors, hopefully finish them off quickly. But he very intelligently collapses in upon me and gets a nice rear charge. So horribly outnumbered at this point. Yeah, definitely outnumbered. Not going to do too well. My units were braced, but they were facing the wrong way. And as long as he's got these Chimerian noble infantry fanging about the place, I'm not going to do... Oh, sorry. As long as he's got these Hippeus Lancers on the field, I'm not going to do too well. I get a nice recharge with my Citizen Cav into his own Celtic warriors. But as soon as I finish off one, you know, there's 2 to replace it. So definitely not going to do too well. My noble infantry facing up against 2 Celtic warriors, they probably would have done okay in this engagement, but the fact that they're ganged up on like 2-1 means that they're not going to do too well. And my Citizen Cav finally being destroyed by this Hippeus Lancer. My Scythian Hoplites probably going to get a few kills against these Hippeus Lancers, but not enough. Not enough. Yeah, the fact that I don't play a very skirmish heavy game means that I don't really play the Chimerians too often, because their killing potential really is in their heavy archers. These guys, these Chimerian heavy archers. Maybe I should give it a go more often, try and you know, utilize them better, because I know that I'm not very good at it. Anyway, thanks Arthur Dodger for the matches. Let us know if you think that what you think constitutes a spam in a small funds battle. I'd be pretty interested to hear what you guys think. Anyway, Jujubear signing out. We'll see you next time. Peace.